Okay, hello everyone. Okay, so the next program is a software sales program. All right, so a software company sells a package that retails for $99. So each package is worth $99. Quantity discounts are given according to the following table. So let me just read from here. Write a program that asks the user to enter the number of packages purchased. So the user is going to buy a certain number of packages. So if the user buys from 10 to 19 packages, then the user gets a 20% discount. It's the 20% off the total. So if it's 20 to 49, 30% discount, and so on. So write a program that's going to ask the user to, sorry, that was my phone. Write a program that is going to ask the user to enter the number of packages purchased. The program is going to then display the amount of discount, if any, and the total amount of purchase after the discount. So the reason why it's saying the discount, if any, is because the user can buy 5 packages, and 5 packages, for 5 packages, you wouldn't get any discount, so it's going to be 0. But anything, I think 10 and above, you get some discount. All right, so I think when we start, we'll have a clear picture of the program. So I'm going to start by creating a class. I'm going to call this software sales. And as always, I'm going to space this out just so it's clear. I'm going to create the main method. My typing is not the best as always. Okay. Okay, so a couple of things we have to do first. So let's say, since we're going to be asking for user input, I'm going to be using one of the options we have. I'm going to be using the G option pane. I could use a scanner, but I'm going to use the G option pane for this one. All right, so before I use the G option pane, I need to import it so that the program can have access to it. And I do this by import javax.swing.joptionpane. Okay. All right, I don't have to declare, I don't have to create any object. With the G option pane, you just use it, unlike the scanner class. Okay, so first, let's go ahead and prompt the user. Let's prompt the user to enter how many packages he or she is buying, right? So I'm going to use the G option pane's show input dialog method. Okay, so it's going to be J option pane dot show input dialog, and it receives the argument you pass in is a string, the string that's going to be displayed to the user. So I'm just going to enter, please enter how many packages you're buying. But when the user enters how many packages, we need a place to store that number the user types. So we're going to create a variable here. In the main method, we're going to create a variable, and I'm going to name this. It's going to be a string. The reason why it's going to be a string is because anything that is returned from the show input dialog method is a string. It returns automatically a string, and then later on we can convert that to a number and then use it in our calculations if we want, if we need it to be a number. So the first thing is going to be a string, and I'm going to name this user input. So whatever the user is going to type is going to be stored in user input. So now we have whatever the user typed from this here into this. But again, this is a string because whatever the G option pane returns, G option pane's input dialog returns, show input dialog returns, is a string. So we need to convert it to a double. I'm sorry, to an integer, because how many packages you're buying is going to be an integer. You can buy 2.5 or 5.2 packages, so it's going to be an integer. So we need to convert it to an integer. So to do that, we already have the result here. I mean, whatever the user typed here. So we're going to convert this into an integer. So it's going to be integer dot pass int. And what are we passing to an integer? We are passing user input to an integer. And once we pass user input to an integer, we need to store the result somewhere. So we need to declare that. So that's going to be an int. We're going to create an int variable, and we're going to call it user number of, let's say, packages. I'm making it long just so that it makes sense. So user number of packages, and we're going to store the result in user number of packages. Okay, so now we have the user number of packages, or users number of packages stored in this variable, this integer variable. So now we have it. So now we can test on it to see if it qualifies for a discount. So we're going to use an if statement for that. And I'm going to start if statement, the structure of it. I like to space things out just so it's clear. Okay, so if the user number of packages is less than 10, I'm starting with that. I'm starting with anything less than 10. Okay, because over here it says from 10 to 19 gets a 20% discount. So anything less than 10 gets a discount of 0, basically $0. So I mean, it gets a discount of 0. So we need a variable to store the discount. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create that variable, and the discount, it's going to be a double, because the discount could be $25.30, for example. So double discount, and initially I'm going to initialize it to a 0 so that it's nothing. So anyone who buys packages less than 10 gets a discount. Let me just space this out. I'll just leave this. So I'll just leave this. Anyone who buys packages less than 10 gets a discount of 0. Before that, even before that, let me just go ahead and delete this. Let's go ahead and calculate the person's subtotal. Okay, let's go ahead and calculate the person's subtotal. So if your number of packages is less than 10, first let's calculate your bill without the discount. And for that, I'm going to store it in a subtotal variable, and you'll understand why I do that. So I'm going to create a subtotal, double subtotal, and I'm going to set that to 0 too. Everyone's subtotal is 0 initially. And let me just space this out. If it's too long, I'll close the spaces. But let me just space this out from here. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'll just close it out, and then space it out horizontally, like this. Spaces here, just so it's a bit clear. I'll close the gaps just so it doesn't become too long. Although some programs are going to be long anyway. Okay, so if the number of packages is less than 10, then your discount. Sorry. Let's calculate the subtotal first. Then your subtotal, without any discount applied, is going to be the retail price, which is $99, times the number of packages, right? But we can write it directly, or we can make life simple and create or put just $99 in the variable, right? So we can say, let's do it up here just so it's a bit organized. I'm going to say package price. And package price, I'm just going to say double package price, because the price could be 99.25 cents, dollars, $99.25. So package price is going to be equal to 99. Okay. All right. So subtotal now. This is the person's bill. It's going to be the person's number of packages, the user number of packages. Hold on. Sorry. The price. It's the same thing. The price. I'm sorry. Package price. All right. Times the user's number of packages. Okay. All right. So the subtotal without any discount applied is going to be the package price, which is $99, times how many packages you're buying. And then now we need to, for anything less than 10, we need to calculate the person's discount. Anything less than 10 here, the person doesn't have a discount. So in that case, discount is going to be equal to 0. So now we need to calculate the person's total. We need a place to store the person's total, so we need a variable for that too. And for that is going to be double total, because the total could be a decimal. It could be $254.25 or $254.30. So we've created a variable for total. Oops, variable, small letter. Total. All right. So the person's total now, let me initialize that to 0. Everyone's total is 0 initially. And the person's total now is going to be the person's subtotal minus the discount, if any. Discount, if any. So in this case, the person's discount is 0 because it's less than 10. For anything less than 10, you don't get a discount. So total is going to be equal to subtotal, your original bill without a discount, minus the discount, in this case 0. Else, if, let me create another structure. Now the next condition is if the user's number of packages is not less than 10. If the number of packages is not less than 10, then that means that the number of packages is 10 or above. Okay, but we don't want all the numbers that are 10 or above. We want numbers 10 or above, and also less than 20. Okay, so don't get confused here. If the user enters, let's say 15, it's going to test here and say, is 15 less than 10? No. So if 15 is not less than 10, then it's possible. I mean, then it's not possible. It's 100% sure that it's 10 or above. Okay, if 15 is not, if that number is not less than 10, then that means it's 10 or above. And for all the numbers 10 or above, we want the numbers. We want those that are less than 20. We want numbers 10 or above. Okay, that are less than 20. So I hope you don't get confused here. It's like we're filtering out numbers. At first we said if the user's number of packages is less than 10, then do this. If it's not less than 10, then that means that number is either 10 or above. And we don't want all the numbers 10 or above. For all the numbers 10 or above, we want the ones less than 20. We are narrowing it down here. Anything 10 or above here, if this doesn't hold, anything 10 or above, that is also less than 20. So 10 to 19, because 10 or above, but at the same time less than 20, 19. So 10 to 19. In that case, then the person's subtotal, I hope you didn't get confused with the if statement. But when you think through it, it will make sense. Okay, so the person's subtotal, if it's 10 to 19, is 20%. I mean, sorry, not the discount. The person's subtotal is going to be the same thing here. The package price, which is $99 times user number of packages. That's the person's bill without any discount applied. Now we need to calculate the discount, and the person's discount is going to be 20%. We wanted to do this calculation first. So 20% off the subtotal. That's how much discount the person is getting. 20% is the same as 20 over 100. 20 divided by 100, it's the same as 20%. When you, I have a calculator here, when you do 20 divided by 100, you get 0.2, and that's 20%. Okay, so it's going to be 0.2 off. You can read this as off times. Okay, times, you can read it as off. Sets the subtotal. That's going to be the discount. And the person's total is going to be the subtotal. Minus the discount. Just like the one, the statement above. The only difference is with this condition, if the number of packages is 10 or above, but also less than 20, then the person gets this discount. All right, so we need to continue filtering out. And I'm sorry if these programs get long, but I just want it to be clear. I personally don't mind at all. I prefer that it's clear, so I don't really mind. But if it's bothering you and you already know, you can skip through it if you want, but I just want it to be clear. That's why I take a bit more time just to explain it. Okay, so if the user's number of packages is not less than 10, right? Then that means it's 10 or above. And for all the numbers 10 or above, we want the numbers less than 20. So if the number is not less than 20 also, then that means that the user's number of packages is 20 or above. And for all the numbers 20 or above, we want also the ones less than 50, because over here it says 20 to 49, right? If it's not less than 20 here, then that means it's 20 and above. And for all the numbers 20 and above, over here it says user number of packages less than 50. For all the numbers 20 and above, we want the ones less than 50. So 20 and above, but less than 50. 20 to 49. Okay, again, I hope I didn't confuse anyone. Okay. All right, so in that case, the person's subtotal without any discount applied, I can copy and paste it, but sometimes I just like typing this stuff out. I'll do it for the next one. I'll copy and paste for the next one. Okay, so subtotal is going to be package price, times the user number of packages. And the person's discount in this case is going to be equal to 30%. And 30% is going to be equal to 30 divided by 100. 30% off the subtotal in this case. All right, so now before I continue, there is a problem with this calculation. In Java, anytime you're doing an integer division, integer division means that you have when you both operands are integers. When this is an integer and this is an integer, even though in actual fact 20 divided by 100 gives you 0.2. Anytime you do an integer division, okay, when both of your operands are integers in Java, even though it's supposed to give you 0.2, because both of these are integers, it's going to drop off the 0.2. The result you're going to get is going to be an integer. It's not going to give you 0.2. It's going to give you a 0. It's going to drop off the 0.2 because you are doing an integer division. The way to tell Java that you want a decimal as an output, as a result, is that one of these have to be a double. It doesn't matter which one. Either this or this have to be a double. So to do that, you use typecasting. You just put double in front of one, double in parentheses in front of one of these operands, and I'm going to just do it for 20. I'm going to do the same thing for double in front of this one for the 30. If you do this, then now you're going to get a 0.2, or in this case here a 0.3 instead of just 0. Okay, so I just had to do that before I run into any problems.